Hey YouTube. When I was around 8 years old, I made a very serious mistake. I became vegetarian for about a year. I was seduced by the propaganda of activists. They were handing out pamphlets in the city complaining about the horrors of KFC, Kentucky Fried Cruelty, if I remember correctly. And I decided to investigate further. I was always at the library because my mum reads a lot and she dragged me along. It was one of the few free sources of entertainment when my unemployed parents, who have been on welfare my whole life, were too cheap to have internet. I picked up a book in the library and I borrowed it. Which book exactly, I don't remember, but it covered vegetarianism. I always liked animals, so when I read about the cruelty of meat production, I decided I must do what I could and become vegetarian. I refused to eat meat for roughly a year. I thought how horrible it must be for those animals to suffer. This wasn't about being popular. You see, vegetarianism is now all trendy. It wasn't about appealing to the upper middle class or trying to be a health nut or emulating a celebrity. I just didn't want to contribute to the suffering. I didn't care about my own health. My parents warned me that it was a bad idea, but they didn't tell me that it would make a massive contribution to me being unable to find a girlfriend in the future. I was a fussy eater, sensitive to strong tastes. I was hesitant to try anything new, and so I couldn't get the necessary protein, calories, nutrients from my diet for that period of time. And of course, my parents did not try and plan out a meal plan that would have provided me the adequate nutrition. I undoubtedly stunted my growth, my height, frame, bone structure, facial definition. A whole year of growth thrown away, significantly pushing me down in the percentiles of attractiveness. I was already small and underweight before that, and this made it worse. This one mistake was likely enough on its own to kill off any chance of finding a girlfriend and living a normal, happy life. I was a child. I was idealistic. I was not a sane, rational adult capable of making serious decisions. So I'm not sure if I could really say I had control of my fate, of my destiny. Did I really have agency back then? I didn't know the extent of the consequences. I wish my parents would stop me and force me to eat meat somehow, or found a way to give me the necessary nutrition. I wanted to be a good person. I wanted to do the right thing, not to impress anyone, but because that just seemed like the right thing to do. But now I will forever pay the price. As an incel, I'm seen as a potential killer because I didn't want animals to be killed. I'm seen as someone who does or might do sick, twisted or cruel things because I didn't want to contribute to the cruel things that are happening to animals. I'm always going to be seen as a creepy and untrustworthy person because of the way I look, because once upon a time I put my beliefs over my health and self-interest. This world is such a cruel place. I don't think I could ever become vegetarian again after what happened. I'm suffering eternal punishment for my decisions. My health, the base level of pleasure of eating, and efficiency in getting what I need from food all come first now. These days, I love KFC. I like popcorn chicken, I like nuggets, original recipe fillet burger, zinger burger, sometimes tenders, sometimes wicked wings. I don't usually eat the chicken pieces though. I dream of going to America and trying lots of fried chicken at places such as Chick-fil-A. I still don't eat beef or pork because of my mum's religious restrictions. I haven't ventured outside those restrictions, even though I'm not religious myself, because that's what I'm used to, and at home there's no one to cook outside of those restrictions for me. So the meat I eat is generally chicken or fish, and occasionally lamb. It was not just going vegetarian that ruined everything. The other dietary factors I mentioned before included being a fussy eater. I might have been one of those super tasters. That's a term for people who are really sensitive to tastes, and it has been associated with autism. So maybe that says something. And also my mum's religious restrictions. And I guess just not being someone who ate a lot naturally. I was always a light eater. As usual, all the factors combined together sent me to the bottom of the pile, condemning me to eternal loneliness. The fundamental problem here is that in childhood, I didn't know what I know now. I could tell that people didn't like me and that my looks and small size had an impact on how people perceived me, but I didn't feel that it was consequential. Like, who really cares if people don't like me? I mean, so what? Some people express concern, but I dismiss them. They made it sound like something very bad was going to happen if I did not grow sufficiently, if I stayed small. Well, now I know. A lot of black pillars always talk about being doomed since birth, that genetics is the only thing that matters. But no, I don't think that's the case at all. This is one of those cases where the actions taken throughout the course of my life have contributed to a particular outcome. I'm short, with a small frame, lacking facial definition, frame cell, manlet in the PSL terms. I actually had a higher birth weight than my brother, who was a normal height and frame size, with decent facial definition. I was never going to be 6 foot, but I could have been average, or at the very least a power manlet, that is, short with a large frame, like my dad. Unfortunately, I am in the situation that I am in. Things happen the way they did. Why do I insist on digging up the past? Well, maybe once I've addressed the past, it'll be easier to move forward, and hopefully it's something interesting to talk about. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We are up to 1,250 subscribers now, so that puts me halfway to 2,500, which will be a big mark. I usually say this, but I really want to try and upload more regularly, so stay tuned and let's see if we can grow this channel in the next 3 months. Also, if you haven't seen it, there is a Discord server, and you can contact me by either Discord or email, which are both on the About page if you need to. Thanks, and see you next time.